Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about heat illness. That is one of the top three factors that are cause sudden death in athletes. At the end of this video, you know how to prevent them, what they look, signs and symptoms look like, and ways that you can just be more preventative and be more proactive. So if you think you're interested, please keep watching. So today I want to start with defining what is heat illness. Like I don't even know and it's basically what it sounds like. These are illnesses or injuries, if you will, that come from being in the heat, from our outdoor sports. Um, the temperature is hotter than normal, so that's basically what it means. And these are things that can turn into um, life threatening emergencies. So for me, we categorize as a certified athlete trainer, we categorize them as three categories when heat illness. So we have heat cramps, which is a very common one, which is, oh my God, I caught a cramp. We kind of talked about in the last video. The link for that last video will be in here. Um, you'll find the fact that, okay, it's more physical, like, oh, I caught a cramp. I'm in pain. That muscle is hard to move. It might be, if you look at it, you can see the muscle tightening. You can touch it, it hurts. Sometimes they're a little limiting, but you can push through. The body recovers pretty well from those. And then they have other ones that take a little bit longer. Do not ignore those. Those are warning signs. That is base level one. And when we talk about heat illness, everything is progressive. Some are quicker progressions than others, but no matter what, you're going to progress. You're not going to go from normal to the most laid out in a stretcher. And that's what I want people to understand is like, pay attention to your body. All of these are signs and symptoms something is wrong. So don't say, oh, it's just a cramp. Ignore it. No, okay, I have a cramp. Okay, I need to hydrate more when I'm done. I need to be done right now. This is my body telling me I'm breaking down. I need to get some electrolytes, sodium, potassium in my system. I need to make sure that pay attention to hydration levels. All the heat illness and dehydration are tied together. So, okay, if I'm dehydrated, then my heat illness may increase. That is, there are two peas in a pod. So, we talked about hydration in the last video as well, but I'll just say one quick thing. Like I said about be careful of like your pee. So if you're peeing a darker color or too light of a color, the hydration is not where it's supposed to be. If you aren't peeing enough, like that means your body has used everything that's in there to help it out, and then don't have nothing left to pee. And another way I like to help people be mindful of hydration is on a scale. What we go by is anything over 2% loss of body weight is a red flag. So if you are 100 pounds in pre-practice, before you went out there, you stand on the scale, you're 100 pounds. When you're done with practice, you get to the locker room, you're 97 pounds. That means that you've lost 3%. Or if you're 98 pounds, that means you've lost 2%. That is a red flag. You need to recover. In some settings, they don't let you practice until you're back within. Like those are the things that you can do on your own. You don't need somebody else to do. You could be proactive with those. You could be paying attention to those. So now that we talked about heat, cramps, okay, I got a cramp, ouch, I'm in pain, different things like that. Okay, I'm probably dehydrated. I need to take care of my body. I need to recover. I need to slow down. I might even need to stop practice at that point. So then we have heat exhaustion. So this is when it gets really dangerous. This is when it starts becoming a cooling problem. So what you'll start seeing is the body temperature increase. We're probably about close to 100 degrees at this point, within probably 100 degrees. So what you'll see is the response of people. So if I'm talking to you, I ask you a question. What's your name? My name is Jordan. I might respond slower. My eyes might close. I might be alert. I might be conscious, but it's very low. You start saying like, okay, you might see them move a little bit slower. You might see them respond slow. They might forget stuff. You're going to see them sweat a whole bunch. I mean, they're going to be exhausted. They're going to feel just like, oh my God, help. I need some milk. Help, Jesus, help. I feel like that meme, that lady stuff. But anyways, so basically, those are what you'll see. It's not a laughing matter, it's very, very serious. And that's what you'll see. And those are warning signs that you need to say, okay, coach, you need to go to the coach, you need to go to a teammate, like, brother, help me, like, sis, help, like, something's wrong. Because sometimes the coaches don't see it. They're not paying attention, not because they don't care, they just don't pay it. They can't see all of you guys at the same time. So this is the one where I say you need to stop practice. I need something to drink. I need some electrolytes. I need a sports drink. I need to cool my body temperature. I need to cool my body temperature down. And one thing I'll also recommend, like the very low level, get some ice bags. Put them at the base of their skull. Put them on their armpits. And those are the basic level of cooling somebody down. Put them in some AC. These are the basics. Put them in a building. Put them in some shade. Put them under a tent. Get them some fans. Cool them down. Those are the basic mid level things you can do. And then at that point, if that's not working, and you start seeing that progress, call 911. Call 9 as soon as let me back up. As soon as you start seeing the kids start looking really down, like it's something that's going on, they're responding slower. They're not really they're starting to lose consciousness. They're not responding in the way that you know something is wrong. Call 911 if you feel like you can't get there quickly. And but while you're waiting or while somebody's calling, make sure you're getting that kid cool. Tell them, hey, this kid was out here. It's 98 degrees. They're playing football. They're doing this. We're trying to cool them down. But we know that they stopped being alert. They stopped responding quickly, or they weren't responding as well, or whatever, or they just passed out. Like things like that. They might have passed out, but they're still talking. Be mindful of that. So those are things you'll see: a lot of sweating. You'll see their skin a little clammy. Like if you touch it, like somebody gives you a high five, you're like, ooh, that's weird. Like, or they're just pouring, like it's too much. You know something's wrong. Heat exhaustion is one of those ones that are just critical. And the thing is, if you ignore that, it's going to get even more, it's going to get more dangerous. And the thing is that it will progress, even if you kind of do the basics that you know, depending on how well their body temperature can cool down, it might not be fast enough. So that's why I always say call 911. Call them. But the thing, worst case scenario, you start getting the body temperature down. They come in, they'll do like their vitals. And they're like, okay, they're doing fine now, and they'll leave. If you don't get on the ambulance, they're not going to charge you. When they close those doors now and they drive, then they'll charge you. But I'd rather you get them be there and you find out, okay, we were able to cool them down, and they take their vitals and they're like, okay, the kid's cool down now. Make sure you hydrate, do different things later. That's cool. But better be safe than sorry. And then after that, it will progress to heat strokes. That's when we're over 104 degrees. As athletic trainers, we know that the temperature is rising. To most people, that doesn't really mean anything, but that's because we do temperatures. We do oral temperatures. We also do temperature of the butt, because that's the gold standard. That's the most accurate. You rarely see people do it, but it happens. This person is, we have to do rapid cooling. So we dump them in a bag, another bag. They dump them in a tub. Like when I say tub, I mean like a pool of ice water. We've already prepped it. So it's nothing for us to pick up that kid. We take off their equipment. Oh, that's what I was going to say. When you're in heat exhaustion, make sure you're taking the equipment off. That's one of the first things you want to do. Take the helmet off, take the pads off. If they're catchers, take that stuff off. Like, I mean, other sports like soccer and stuff, you know, got equipment. But you start seeing kids take that stuff off, especially during heat exhaustion. Take it off. Kids sweating too much, something's off. Take it off. Take off everything, not everything, but take off all their equipment. If they have extra pieces of clothing on, take that off. It's gonna help them cool down. But back to heat stroke. Side note, but back to heat stroke. At that point, you should have already called 911. And if you didn't, you were hesitated before, you call 911, because at this point they're probably not as alert. Their probably eyes are closed. They're probably not answering your questions. You shaking them up, hey, like they're losing consciousness, in and out of consciousness. I've seen it happen. At this point, they're going to, you have to have taken them out of the heat. Like they are, it's life threatening now. You should have already called 911, but if not, let them know, hey, this kid is not responding. Let them know what's going on when you call 911. Like be as detailed as possible. But also have somebody call, but also make sure the kid is getting, at the very minimum, get them in a car with blast the AC. Like do something to help that kid down. You can also buy those cooling towels that you can put in the ice water as well. Make sure that there's a tent out there. If it's AAU, put a tent out there. The tents are not as expensive. Do these different things. They're gonna, so when they have cooling, when they have when they have water breaks, they can go into the tent. Give them some fans. There are wireless fans. Just turn those on when the water break is on. Make sure they have what they need. Make sure there's somewhere for them to get something to drink, or have a parent. Hey, each week we want a parent to bring something, or whatever the case is. Or make sure your kid has a bottle of water. Get the insulated one, so when the heat is, they're not drinking hot water. They want to drink something that's cool. Those are the things you can do that's preventative. So hydrating. As a kid, make sure you're on a scale. Coaches can do coolers with ice. Even parents put a little cooler with some ice, little tiny ones. Put some ice water in there, so when they feel like they're hot and they get the water break, they can put towels on themselves, on their heads. It's a community thing. So parents, coaches, and athletes, those are the things that you guys can do to kind of be preventable. But definitely temperature. Check the temperature. Okay, it's extremely hot. Let's make some modifications. Let's have water breaks. Let's do it just a helmet practice. Be aware of what's going on in your environment. Don't be so oblivious. Like, and just because you push through when you're temperature when you're young, that's not okay. One other thing is when we have acclimation periods. So we do like, okay, the first week it's 90 degrees. So we're just gonna do this. We might do our conditioning might look different. We might have practice later at nights. We might have practice early in the morning. Think of these things. I mean, obviously there's other factors, but consider this stuff. And those are my most preventative things. So if you do see your body isn't responding well, make sure you're recovering. Make sure you're saying, Coach, my body's not feeling really good. I really went through a lot of sweat last night at practice. I don't think I'll make it this practice. Speak up. Talk to your coaches, your parents, whatever. And these are the bigger things I just want you guys to pay attention to. So the heat illness is cramps, exhaustion, stroke. Make sure you're careful of your hydration levels. Weighing yourself pre and post practice no more than 2%. And if you don't know it, Google it or put it in your phone. 2%, depending on your body weight. It's different for everybody. Make sure you're preventative. Ice towels in a cooler, water and ice in a cooler, hydrating, do a tent, practice times. Be careful of those different things. And pay attention to those signs and symptoms. Something's wrong. Okay, make sure the kids have somewhere to cool themselves. That's a really big deal. And even like if you don't have ice tubs, which is I know it's not common, one thing we do for runners is we get like these little we call them like cooling blankets, and so you put water and ice in it, and you just toss the kid, and it just cools the body temperature down. That's something that is also that I want to put in the link below. But those are the things I want you guys to take. If you have questions, let me know. Everything is not all one size fits all. Find your local healthcare provider that can give you more specifics. These are general things that any and everybody can do no matter what's going on. And these are the injuries that I want you guys to help prevent. It's not worth dying over practice. It's not worth it, but it is happening. So be mindful in the heat and all year round, but specifically in the hotter temperature, especially now in July. And take care of yourself. You only have one body God gave you. Stay blessed. Peace.